What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you feeling? We're going to get the stream started in just about a minute. We got TA Tim in the house today. We're going to be talking charts. We're going to be talking what's going on, a little bit of ETF talk, but guess what? All eyes are on Bitcoin. Bulls are about to run. We're going to be talking about that. Does that mean up only from here? Maybe a little bit downside, maybe chopping back and forth. What are you doing? How are you preparing? Are you prepared? We're going to be getting this going here in just seconds. So everybody hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button and ding the bell. We're going to be going in a moment. Bitcoin. What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you feeling? Welcome to the BitLab Academy. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. We do this every day here at the BitLab, trying to provide you all the tools and resources and community to make sure that you can grow into this market in a meaningful way so that you can change your life and you can change your family's lives because you know how to navigate this market. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. And without any further ado, we're going to just jump right to our main man of the hour because we have some things we want to talk about. And that's our guy here, Mr. TA Tim. How you doing, my friend?
What is up, my friends? Kelly, you know, we're so far away and yet so close. Same building, but, you know, different levels. I'm here in the new trading dungeon here at Discover Crypto Hit Network, whatever we're going to call it now. I don't really actually even know. But yeah, I'm excited, man. Prices have been a little crazy today. We got some good stuff happening. Not if you were looking for a short position, but if you are looking for long-term positions, there's some pretty cool stuff popping up, but still some uncertainty, Kelly, for sure we got to get into and talk about today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, everybody, if you're new here, welcome to our family. Welcome. This is one of the most positive spots in the crypto space because this isn't just about numbers. Crypto is only one of those mechanisms that we can utilize if we have the know-how, if we have the community, if we have the tools to make sure we can change our life and step into the future. And that's what this is about. So with that being said, crypto's been around for a while. That's for sure. You know, Bitcoin, I mean, if we really think about it in the scheme of things, it hadn't been around at all, but we feel like it's been forever. But we're just getting up at that point, Tim, where we have these ETFs right on the horizon. What do you think that's going to spell out? What's your idea about what that means for Bitcoin? Tim, what does it mean to you? These ETFs are on the horizon. What does it spell out over the next 3 months? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, you know, I'm excited for it. I have a bet going with T-Shroom though. Here's what I'll say. I'm probably going to lose this bet, and I'm glad I'm going to lose this bet. There's a couple bets I like to lose. The bet that T-Shroom and I have going on at the moment is that we will not see an ETF by the 10th, right? So we started this bet back in early December. I just have this gut feeling Gary Gensler is going to do something, come up with some BS reason to kick the can down the road once again. A lot of things kind of pointing towards that's going to be wrong. And so if I'm wrong and the ETF does get approved, I have to buy T-Shroom a steak. Actually, it's a $35 gift certificate to Longhorn. But if we don't see an ETF, then he has to pay for my stake. And here's the deal. It's like the best of both worlds, right? So I really want the ETF to get approved and then see Bitcoin price shoot up. I'm going to talk about that here in a second because I do have thoughts about still a pullback coming. But then if I win the bet, you know, yeah, we have to deal with about 2.5 more months of nonsense. But I get a free stake, so that's pretty cool. Here's my thought. I think, you know, we're fresh on the heels of a nice dip from a Jim Cramer classic crash. You know, Jim Cramer comes out and talks positively about Bitcoin, and of course, the price goes down. It's becoming like a sure thing. I told someone the other day, it's not a 100% thing. Like, let's give Jim Cramer some credit. Every now and then he says something crazy that ends up being true. But just like any other indicator in technical analysis or crypto trading, use it as a flashed in confluence. We did see some bearish things on the chart. There was bearish divergence forming on certain time frames. We saw money flow start to kind of cool down. Then you throw in there Jim Cramer being bullish, confluence, you should have sold. That should be how you read the market. But he said something else. He did say he thinks that Bitcoin's here to stay. It's doing really well, but he thinks that the ETF approval will be a sell the news event. And you know what's crazy? He's not crazy wrong about that statement. It's actually something I've been talking about for a while, but here's where I think he's wrong. I think he thinks the minute we actually get the approval, it's going to crash. That's not going to happen. When we get the approval, we will see a massive skyrocket in price. I'm going to show you on the charts. 53,000 looks really good to me for a potential top for Bitcoin. But do not be surprised if we see an explosion for about a day, maybe 2 or 3 days, and then we have the markets actually correct. And the reason why, just so you guys understand, I don't know if you talked about this before, Kelly, but in case people didn't know, the day we get the approval from Gary Gensler does not mean people can go on and trade and buy and short the that ETF. They'll have to wait at least a month, if not longer, before that happens. That is the perfect opportunity, especially after a couple God candles here and push Bitcoin up above 50K. That will be the perfect opportunity for the whales and the other institutions who want to now get in before everything is crazy. This is the last good time to have upwards of maybe 30 to 40% pullback in prices, get some good buy levels down towards 31,000, and then we can shoot the price to the upside. It's the perfect storm for how markets like to move. But I do think, Kelly, I don't know what your thoughts are about this. What do you think about future volatility in bear markets? Like, we've had some 90% pullbacks in bear markets. This most recent one, I don't think quite got to 80, but it's like in the 70 zones. What is with the institutional players now and trillions of dollars that will be coming into Bitcoin, what is the most significant bear market pullback you think we'll see in the future?
I think that's all going to depend on what type of potential gray or black swans that we could get over time. Separating those out, I do think that as institutions come in, yes, it's going to be huge capital flow into the space, and it's going to be phenomenal. One of the other things it's going to do, though, and this is why for everybody watching right now, you need to hit that like button. You need to hit that subscribe button and ding the bell, because you are ahead of so much right now. You're ahead of the world. We're such a small percentage of people that are in crypto right now. And as these institutions come in fact, I'm just going to show something here on the screen, which I don't think you're going to be able to see, Tim, but it's right here. A pattern is emerging. Other funds registered as securities already trading on the NASDAQ are amending their prospectuses that they can now expose 15 to 50% of their assets under management to Bitcoin. Do you understand what this means, everybody? This is one of those things. Yes, the spot ETFs are on the horizon, and regardless of what volatility we get in the next week, month, or even over the course of this next year, institutions are on their way in. And because of that, being here now, starting to already getting exposure, you are basically taking advantage, I think, of the last huge opportunity for explosive gains. And as you just mentioned in your question, I think as more institutions come in, more big players, there's going to be ways that, financial tools that they use and strategies they use to take advantage of price action in both direction. And by doing that, they're not doing it with $10 or $20. They're not doing it with 10 million or 20 million. They're doing it with 100 million or 200 million or even 5 billion, where they're playing both sides. And that's going to mitigate some of that volatility over the long run as the more players come in. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, absolutely. I still think this is the difference. I still think there's a chance that the very least, even if you're buying Bitcoin right now, you are probably still going to see a 4x to potentially all the way up to an 8x on Bitcoin. And what you just said there, that news that broke about the allotment of how much of their assets under management they can put towards Bitcoin, I want people not to sleep on that number. Not that they're gonna put that complete number into it, but when you look at the math of what moves the Bitcoin market, right? It's not as simple as saying, hey, if we have $1 billion invested into Bitcoin, then that means that the market cap goes up by $1 billion, right? No, that's not how it works. That's not how markets work. In reality, when you sort out through all the math, if only 1% of every single one of these filers for the ETFs puts their money into Bitcoin, we are talking about a $500,000 Bitcoin. That's 1%. But now that they have this freedom to go all the way up, you said, is it 15 or 30% is the top?
Between 15 and 50%.
And 50%. All right, let's
And these are of funds. And just to throw a number out there real quick, we can see right here that from the Statista.com, asset managed by investment funds in the Americas, $31 billion. Total net assets of regulated open-end funds worldwide, $60 trillion. We fail to see sometimes with our small little portfolios, even when we think we've gained a lot, even if you have $1 million, 5 million, or 100 million, we do not understand the amount of capital and money that's available out there in the world, and how many people are becoming more and more aware of the runaway train that is the fiat system and the strengthened position Bitcoin is in, especially with BlackRock coming on board. There's going to be no question that there's going to be some percentage number, whether it's 1, 5, or 15%. I think that percentage is going to grow over time of how much capital, how much percentage of these different types of portfolios for both institutions and individuals and funds, where people are going to be getting more and more exposure to this over time. So we are so far ahead of the pack.
Yeah, Kelly, there's another thought I have there I want people to be prepared for, to think through when we're looking at previous markets. I don't know if you're already sharing my screen or if you want to. Let's think back to 2021. For most of us, 2021 was the first real bull market. I know Kelly had a little bit of bull market back in 2017, but most people, the mass majority of Bitcoin holders, 2021 probably was the first bull market. So it's hard without doing back analysis to fully understand some of the success and frustrations of this bull market. In reality, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think on Discover Crypto. Look at the price actions in the past bull markets. There's almost always, after setting a new high, so we did it, let's say, we'll go back here. After setting a new high back in 2013, we rally up and then have a massive pullback around quarter two of that year. And then we had this massive pullback.
What percentage pullback was that? Just to give people context, because looking at it zoomed out, people feel like it was nothing.
Yeah, this one's going to be big because of how short the price action was. This was this was during a bull market, a 74% pullback in quarter two of the bull market year, right? And then notice after that pullback, we exploded for another push up, not just, a big gain of itself of 1,600%. I mean, that's a massive gain. Even if you had bought the top back here in April of 13, you still would have made massive gains. In fact, let's just look at that. If you had bought the top and held, you still would have more than 4x your money by the end of that bull market. Then we have, of course, a good 90% pullback. We had the bear market of 2015. Guess what happens right here? June. So this is right there at the end of quarter two of the bull market year. Let's take a look at what it looked like. Let's actually, that's not the bull market year. 2017. Sorry, June of 2017. Let's take a look at this pullback. We break a new all-time high. We rally. We have a good pullback. Let's see what number this one was. This one was a modest 40% pullback, right? And then explode to new highs in 2017. Going forward to the bull market that you guys are lived through, most of you probably, we break through new all-time high, and then again, quarter two of 2021, we have a big pullback. Of course, this was the Elon suppression. The price pulled back 50%.
To be fair, that was the Elon suppression as well as a Chinese mining ban.
Well, it was a perfect 1-2 combo to the face is what it was of Bitcoin. We had a nice 50% pullback, but notice a difference in this bull market, right? This bull market, rather than the one back in 2013 and the one in 2017, after that significant pullback and they exploded to new crazy levels, we borderline double topped. Yes, we went a little bit higher. Yes, we went from having a $63,000 or $65,000 top to a $69,000 top. The price really disappointed. And my theory, Kelly, is that, the saying, at first they ignore you and then they laugh at you and then they fight you and then they join you, right? Ignored. This is all retail investment right here. This is all of the institutions laughing at crypto. This was a fighting bull market, right? They suppressed the price. Remember all the influencers who called for 100,000? They called for 100,000 because that was actually good analysis, because the track record of Bitcoin bull markets is that you have a significant pullback in the beginning to late quarter two, and then you have another explosive rally into the end of the bull market year. but the institutional hatred of Bitcoin suppressed that price action. But I'm not going to be surprised, Kelly, if this is the exact opposite. This bull market right here trained most holders to be pessimistic, to feel like everything's going to be negative. And that's the reason why is because the institutions were against us. But now that they've joined us, now you have all of the FOMO from the retail investors who don't want to sell, who see the life-changing wealth coming in, and you see the institutions catching that same exact vision. I would not be surprised to see a compensation bull market. I'm going to keep myself modest, but I feel like I'm being way too modest by saying $200,000 for Bitcoin. I'm
Mm.
getting more and more every single day closer to a thought of saying, even with all the people who will take profit, even the long-term whales who say, hey, you know what? It's been a good run on Bitcoin. I'll buy back in after a dip, but it's time to take profit. I still think that we could see this bull market get up to, if not close to 500,000. And there's technically a route for even more. And the reason why is because 2021, it was a letdown because we were in the fighting stage. This is the stage where they're joining us. Their money's being added to our money. I think that spells a very, very explosive Bitcoin rally in the future.
And that
But
doesn't even
yes,
account for not only all them being there, but because they're there and they're selling Bitcoin facing products like these spot ETFs, we're already seeing the release of these these advertisements on mainstream television. So it's not just news pundits out there talking, which has historically been incredible for how we get all that excess retail interest that floods in towards market cycle tops, because it's now becoming, it's on every news media outlet that we broke previous all-time highs. And unfortunately, that's when dumb money flows in. And the goal here with BitLab, by the way, everybody that's watching, the goal is to make sure that you are no longer dumb money. And it doesn't matter if you have $1 in your portfolio or 100 million. Anybody can be dumb money, and anybody can act like smart money and trade smart, buy bottoms, sell tops. And just like you just said, I agree with you. I think there's a case to be made that we can absolutely have a bull market that blows this previous bull market out of the water. And I would argue this is probably the last opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go from where, again, this, I think I started earlier. I think Bitcoin easily could 4x to somewhere closer to 8 or 10x, right? I think future bull markets, you'll still see, because again, Bitcoin is going to be the greatest form of wealth we've ever seen on the planet. You'll still see 2x's, 3x's, I think, in bull markets. You'll still have some altcoins of the top 10 altcoins who do like 10x's in bull markets. But the days of the surefire coins doing like 20, 30x's, I do think those days are getting close to behind us. In the future, it's going to be the degen things. It's going to be the meme coins. It's going to be the coin that pops up out of nowhere. And if you're lucky enough to find it with a $5 million market cap, maybe you can ride that sucker to $1 billion or maybe like 10 billion. And that's going to be where you still see the 100,000x gains. But where we saw a bunch of those in almost every other bull market, that's diminishing. That's diminishing for sure.
So let me ask you then. This is, obviously Bitcoin is going to be driving the market. And if you ask if that's really the case, maybe you're all in altcoins. Some of you watching, if you really think that, then you're not looking at the market cycle trends of Bitcoin, which is basically driven in some regard. Maybe not everybody fully believes this, but some regard by the Bitcoin halving cycle. Some would also argue maybe it's a global liquidity cycle. I would argue it's probably both. This halving cycle was probably put on that schedule to be in line with the global liquidity cycle. But we can see Bitcoin's bull markets fit to that very tightly, and the altcoin markets also flow along that. So we talked about Bitcoin, and going into this 2024-2025 cycle, we've only got about 10 minutes left. We have to cut the show short a little bit. What other coins are you looking at, in terms of some of the top plays, and do you have a little super secret degen thing that you're looking at?
Dude, I wish I had a super secret degen thing. I hear all my friends and all of my cohorts finding these little hole in the wall projects that they're just super bullish on. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I'll eventually get down that rabbit hole. There's people making a lot of money doing that. I like the trading. I like the charts. I like the coins and the projects with history and experience and volume, so that it's easier to kind of read the indicators to know what price is doing. I mean, it's already hard enough when you're looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and Solana. It gets even harder when you start going to those meme coins. I don't have the time to do the hefty research to know if the project's capable of doing 100x or not. And so I feel like by the time I would find out about them, I'd be the stupid money buying the top and being the exit liquidity. So I kind of stick to the blue chips. The stretches I've made here more recently, TIA. I think TIA, and by the way, today up 30%, TIA. Good stuff there. I like, it's not really a hole in the wall project anymore, but our community over at Investing Bros, we got into the Caspa game back when it was still outside of a top 100 coin. Of course, that's blowing up. That's one, I think that it's a well-known coin, but I still think there's a lot of gains to be made in Caspa, and I think I'm going on a bold prediction that Caspa is a dark horse candidate to be a top 10 crypto by the end of this bull market. Because I do think that the team, the fundamentals, and what they're doing has a lot of room to the upside. So those aren't really degen picks, TIA and Caspa, but they're ones that I've been watching that are not necessarily top end blue chips that have been doing really, really well recently. That's kind of my thoughts.
Do you think that we had a little mini AI cycle, little mini AI push that we had last year once ChatGPT came out and it garnered all the press and that niche narrative for the crypto space? Do you think that we're going to get another AI narrative push in this cycle, or do you think it's just going to run with the rest of the pack?
I think so. I think a large portion is going to come down to where we've gotten really quiet when it comes to AI regulation, right? That was the whole thing. We had an AI boom, but then you did start to see the politicians discussing AI and the fear, and even the likes of Elon Musk, who is a creator of AI and he's created some of these projects. He's expressed concern and fear that if we don't have good regulation here, this could become very dangerous, right? So we're in a zone right now where they've discussed having regulation, but just like the rest of the crypto space, they're not really taking concrete steps to do it. It's been quiet recently, but I do feel that if we can get some regulatory clarity in the AI, that is the future of this world. And I think that, I understand some people's concerns. There's definitely millions of jobs that people are working right now that will be replaced by AI. And I understand the fear of that and the concern. But I was watching an interview. I can't remember the guy that said this, but he was talking about AI and when you take away jobs and you don't have that overhead cost, the economy will boom. The economy will go crazy. And what's going to open up, here's the thing. What happens? What industries go crazy when the economies are doing well? The entertainment business. What do most people want to do? A lot of people, especially millennials and Gen Zers, they want to go on and be influencers. They want to create social media content. They want to do things that they find enjoyable and fun. Well, guess what? Jobs start to grow and grow and grow when the economy is doing well. Fun jobs. Because all these wealthy people who own the AI and own the factories and own the businesses, they have all this money. They want to be entertained. So the truth is, it'll actually be very good for the economy and people of all levels to grow. And I mean, at a certain point, when you have the Elon Musk of this world, Elon Musk is going to get us to a place where electricity doesn't cost anything. Food is going to darn near not cost anything. Now, who knows what they're going to put in that food? That's the scary part. But the truth is, I think we actually might be 20, 30 years away from an economy that's actually doing well if we're using crypto. US dollar's not going to get there. But if we adopt crypto worldwide, economies that are doing well enough that lower class people, and I say that, are going to be able to live comfortable lives for free because of how well AI and crypto have changed the economic front of this world. Now, that doesn't do away with the other evils. There's so many evils in the world right now. Of course, we're not going to go crazy on this, but if the big news right now all over the internet is this Epstein list. Things like that are not going to go away. And that's what's really sad. And that's what breaks my heart. But if you're worried about, will I be able to put food on my family's table? Will I be able to take care of will I have a house to live in? Will I be able to enjoy my life and have fulfillment because I lose my job to AI? The answer is, I believe, yes. There still will be abilities to do that, even if you don't work a traditional job flipping burgers.
Hey, there's going to be things that change over time. We saw it all the way back from when we were just foraging peoples until, Mesopotamia. Then we got into the point where we were able to, set up perimeters to, animal husbandry and plant husbandry. And that doesn't mean to marry animals. That means to domesticate them, right? And farm them and build little societies, right? And then over the course of time, then we have machinery, right? People were worried machinery was going to displace jobs. You know what? It did. And then other jobs became available. So I think we need to be stop being so fearful and figure out, how can I affect my change? How can I be the master of my future? And crypto is one of the best avenues, I think, for anybody out there, regardless of what area you're in, whether you're working in crypto or you're working on your education in crypto so that you can participate in it. So with that being said, we got a few minutes left there, Tim. How about if you're open to do some TA on us, what you're seeing over the next short period of time for Ethereum and Cardano, and then we can wrap it up.
Well, let's take a look over at the Ethereum chart. Now, Ethereum lost a level of support that had been pretty significant. We were in a little bit of a rising channel here on Ethereum, and I still believe a potential breakout to 2,700. If we hit that 53,000 for Bitcoin that I referenced earlier, I still think Ethereum can make a pop-up here to 2,700, up to the golden pocket. That's if you're at the daily chart and you scroll out, you go to the top of the bull market, down to the bottom of the bear market, 2,700. That's also sitting right there, closer to a volume peak that we have here. We could pop a little higher, theoretically speaking. I don't know about you, Kelly, but when I use fixed range volume profile, sometimes I found that the volume, like valleys, like the dips, are better areas of support and resistance than even the peaks. And you have a nice little volume gap right at about 2,800. But I've kind of created a zone right there around the top of the golden pocket at 2,700. So let's call it 2,700, 2,800. That's what I'm kind of looking at for Ethereum. Let's take a look at some other things closer in here. RSI, coming back down, but I feel like on the daily chart, a lot of people want to see RSI get down to 30. And if you see a 30 RSI on a daily chart and the trend starting to move back to the upside, that's a good thing. But during a bullish trend, without really being a place where we should be heading back to the downside, I see this more like a reloading effect. And you can see it very clearly. You're also going to find bullish divergences as the price action continues to set higher lows and higher highs, kind of flattened out with the highs here on Ethereum. But with those higher lows mixed with lower lows on the RSI and the MACD, other oscillators are kind of confirming that as well. You still got to feel pretty good about at least one more decent push to the upside for Ethereum. One of the things that I love now looking at, I found this tool, Joshua Jake, I think he likes to be called by. He showed me high blocks, the liquidations on high blocks. Not that CoinGlass is terrible, but I really, really do love what High Block does. I feel like it has better information. You guys will see liquidation levels, which I've mentioned several times on Discover Crypto. I mentioned every day on Investing Bros, but we got a lot here at 2,400. But you can see that 2,800 zone is not yellow, but that yellow will increase as we continue to push up. But notice we get above 2,800 and then there's really nothing above there. I do think that's the level we're kind of looking at here to push back up to. Now, you're also going to notice the ones down here towards 1,800. I think there's a decent chance, guys, that we do pull back to 1,800. I know you said Ethereum Ethereum and Cardano, but I want to just kind of show you guys this temporarily. I won't go back to the history of this because I'll just you can fact check me if you want. We've never had a bull market. We've never had a pre-bull market rally before the halving that didn't have a pullback of at least 40%, right? So I'm still expecting a 40% pullback at some point. But remember that number I told you that I think that Bitcoin could get up to? It's going to go up to about 53. There's a gap there. Well, what is 40% down from 53,000? It's all the way down here at 31,800. What is 31,800? That was that resistance level back here in July that we blasted through like a water gun through toilet paper, and we have not revisited as support. We see this happen frequently. There's a couple rules here in technical analysis. When you blast through resistance, the most bullish thing to do is to come back down and treat it as support. In pre-halving bull runs, we have never seen Bitcoin not pull back at least 40% once. We haven't done that yet. So that's two different rules that really I do think the markets are going to respect. And if that happens, let's just talk about Ethereum. I think Ethereum pulls back up, again, 2,800. Would not be surprised to see Ethereum drop back down towards 1,800. My kind of worst case scenario on Ethereum would be somewhere closer to this $1,500 level, back to levels we started in October, kind of eliminating a lot of this run we had. But let's just look at the math on that. If we get to 20, let's pretend we get to 2,800. Where we saw some good levels there. What pullback would that look like? That would only be a 46% pullback, a little more aggressive than Bitcoin, which is very common, but very realistic. If everything I just said about Bitcoin comes true, that's what I would expect to happen to Ethereum. What's going to be weird, though, and I'm going to move to Cardano here in a second. I know we got to wrap it up, Kelly, but what's really interesting is going to see what happens with this new update on Ethereum in Q1. Where they should be solving some gas fees problems. They should be moving into even more decentralization, and they should be what was the last one they were doing with that one? Even more deflation, the deflationary project. Ethereum is going to be a very interesting one in this bull market because it's now deflationary. It's going to throw everything off that we normally know about TA, because you're going to have to start doing some math and changing how it's worked, because everything in the past was inflationary and now it's deflationary. It changes the game completely. Drive by Cardano TA, guys. I at one point was looking at this bull pennant, Kelly, setting us up to $1. I think that's a little high for now. Now that we've kind of keeled over here, let's actually go to the Cardano trade here. Yeah. Now that we've keeled over here, what I'm looking at is this trading channel with the high technically at 67 cents, but really I like the 65-cent zone down to these lows about 52. If you do that breakout, that would give us a price up here to about 81, 82 cents, which is the 0.5 level of macro Fibonacci. It also has a nice volume gap there. And then we're talking about on Cardano, it's going to be more significant than Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm thinking now like a 50 to 60% pullback on Cardano. Do not be surprised to be buying Cardano back below 40 cents again, potentially even all the way down towards 30 cents, which of course was significant resistance not that long ago. That's what I'm looking at right now on those coins. It's gonna be a fun next couple of weeks with ETF news and some great volatility, but that's what I'm preparing for.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with all that, and I think that if anybody's out there feeling their feelings hurt, why would Tim call for lower prices? Well, we've seen in all the cycles previously, we've had pretty large Bitcoin drops sometime around the halving, whether it's just before or a couple months before, like we saw in 2019. We have seen that. And when we see that pullback in Bitcoin, the pullback tends to almost always be larger in altcoins. So this is not a bad thing if we get this opportunity, because remember, a drop right now leading into the most bullish phase of the crypto market is opportunity. It's not time to have our feelings hurt. The only reason, if you do have your feelings hurt with lower prices, realize that means that you don't have a strategy in place to take advantage of it, because I'm ready for lower prices. And you know what? If they don't come, I'm just as equally happy, because my bags are packed. I'm ready to ride this to the upside. I just also know that if it does drop, I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity. Tim, do you have anything else you wanted to share? Also, where can people find you? I know you got a YouTube channel and you also have a wonderful Twitter. Where can they find you?
Yeah, make sure to go follow the Investing Bros. We go live every single day at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I didn't get a video out this morning. I usually put out some sort of market update around 8:30 a.m., but there were some complications with the computer I use. Didn't get one out today. But yeah, go subscribe on YouTube to Investing Bros. You can follow me at Tims_TA over on Twitter. I try to post there a couple times a day. I like YouTube better, though. I like talking to people. I'm not a big typer. I hate typing. So Twitter does get me riled up there. So, yeah.
Well, absolutely. Everybody, hit that like button for Tim. We're going to be having him on more often. If you haven't seen it yet, by the way, if you come over here and you actually come right to this screen right here, this is where you can follow him at Tims_TA. Make sure you're giving me a follow as well right here at Kelly Kellam. Checking out BitLab Academy, also here at Academy BitLab. Make sure you get involved over at bitlabacademy.com. We got a great promotion going on right now, by the way. Come up here and roll. New Year 30, all one word. New Year 30 gets you 30% off your first month. That doesn't only give you access to the courses where we break absolutely everything down from start to finish, the most basic stuff all the way to advanced trading strategies, TA, on-chain data analysis, but you also get access to the BitLab Discord where Tim's in there regularly sharing stuff, and there's so much stuff going on in there with charts and signals, breakdowns, engagement. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff in there. So everybody, hope you all have a wonderful day. We're going to cut this one a little bit short today. I'm heading over to one of Mario Nawfal's Twitter spaces, so I'll be posting that there on my Twitter in a second. So hope to see you there, and we'll see you again tomorrow. And tomorrow we got one of Tim's other good buddies and my friends as well. Army Piper will be coming on tomorrow. Hey-o. So we're trying to bring in more people in the community, share different thoughts with you guys so you have different looks on the market so you can be ultimately the best prepared. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And with that, Tim, thank you again for being on.
Adios, guys.
Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.